Good morning, everyone. My name is Sterling Higa. Oh, member Leong.
I'm going to sign out. I know.
Yep.
I tried to get in 3 times and missed each time. Okay.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. Talk to you later.
Right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Sterling Higa, chairperson of the authority. I'd now like to call to order the January 7th, 2026 Kakaako Authority meeting of the Hawaii Community Development Authority. The time is now 12:06 a.m. Oh, sorry, p.m. My apologies.
In accordance with section 92-3.7 Hawaii Revised Statutes, the Hawaii Community Development Authority is holding today's Kakaako board meeting virtually on Zoom. The Zoom link details were included on the meeting agenda. Therefore, members of the public are welcome to join us on Zoom and also at our physical meeting site at the American Brewery Building, 547 Queen Street, second floor, boardroom, Honolulu, Hawaii, 96813. The HCDA communication staff is hosting this meeting. Once this meeting begins, everyone will be muted for clearer audio. Board members, if you have any comments or questions, please unmute yourselves to speak. It is important that all individuals clearly state their name, pseudonym, or other identifier name each time prior to speaking. If you wish to provide oral testimony and you are attending virtually, please indicate so by clicking the raise hand button on your Zoom screen. If you're attending in person, you'll be called to the front of the room in order that you signed up. Before you begin your testimony, we ask that you identify yourself and spell your name for the record. The testimony must be limited to a line on the agenda. All testimony will be limited to a maximum of 3 minutes. When time is elapsed, time will be called up, after which you have 30 seconds to conclude your testimony, and then the audio will be turned off. If you are attending in person, the presiding officer will call the next testifier. Keep in mind that this is an opportunity to share your thoughts with us. We ask questions during your testimony that the board or the staff was required to provide an answer. If authority's connection to the remote meeting is lost, the meeting will be recessed until the connection is restored. If the connection cannot be restored within 30 minutes, the meeting will be terminated. The authority will continue the meeting at another notice date. Thank you.
Thank you. HCDA board members, please remain visible and audible during the meeting. Also, please acknowledge you are present by either saying here or present. Let the record reflect that the following members are present. Vice Chair Ishii.
Here.
Thank you. Secretary Lidstone.
Ew.
Thank you. Member Miranda Johnson.
Here.
Thank you. Member Anderson is excused. Member Evans.
Here.
Thank you. Member Strikes. Here. Thank you. Member Chena is excused. Member Sakota.
Here.
Here. Thank you.
We have quorum, Chair.
Thanks. Individuals, board members will have an opportunity to ask questions or provide comments following each agenda item, and individuals from the public who have requested to provide verbal public testimony on a specific agenda item are on standby and will be permitted to provide their testimony respectively. Agenda item number 2 is the approval of minutes. These are the regular meeting minutes of December 3rd, 2025. Board members, are there any comments or corrections to these minutes? Seeing none, the minutes are approved as presented. Agenda item number 3 is decision making. To consider authorizing the executive director to 1, solicit statement of qualifications from developers for the development of a mixed-use community facility, mixed income affordable rental housing project on land owned by the Hawaii Community Development Authority in Kakaako Community Development District, located at 952 Kauaihao Street and 955 Waimanu Street, and further identified as Oahu Tax Map Keys 2-3-003065 and 2-3-003093. The land identified by the street addresses 952 Kauaihao Street and 955 Waimanu Street are hereafter referred to as Block P. 2, select a developer, and 3, enter into a development agreement and ground lease with the selected developer for development of the project on Block P2. Mr. Deepak Nupane, Program Specialist 5, will now present the staff report.
Thank you, Chair, and board members. The staff report is in your packet under tab. I'll just summarize it. In April, the board authorized the executive director to purchase the land parcel located on the Kauaihao and Waimanu Streets. And the property was acquired by HCDA in September of 2025. In June of 25, the authority established the executive directors. Roles are and priorities and the development of affordable housing is one of the priorities of the board. So the proposal is to, the request is to issue an RFQ, a request for qualification to select a developer to develop a rental housing project, including community spaces on the ground floor. So if your board has any questions, members have any questions, I can pursue.
Thank you. Board members, comments or questions on this item? Member Strites.
I was just looking through the RFQ and I saw the purpose was for planning, design, construction, financing and operation. I was just curious the extent of that operation that would include, like what the role would be in like finding and screening tenants, or is that purely within the authority?
Yes, that would be screening tenants and making sure that the building is maintained and all of that. Like it's like a management company.
Okay.
So the developer is going to act as the management company too, or bring in a partner that is going to be the management company. And it's typical of what we have done in the past.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you, Member Strites. Members, comments or questions? Seeing none. Oh, Member Evans.
When the executive director has solicited qualifications, selected a developer and entered into a development agreement and ground lease, will that come back to the board as an information item?
We can bring that as we'll be updating the board in the progress of the project.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Members, comments or questions? Seeing none, we will open public testimony. There were a total of 3 written testimonies, all in opposition, that were submitted and emailed to board members that you have in your packet. Do we have any persons pre-signed up for testimony?
Yep.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, so we'll go through the people pre-signed up and then we'll go to people present or online. So the first person pre-signed up to testify is Sarah Freeman. Ms. Freeman, if you want to come up here and please introduce yourself and limit your testimony to 3 minutes.
Aloha, Chairman, Executive Director, and members of the board. My name is Sarah, and I'm a Kakaako resident, and my husband and I own and operate F45 Training Ala Moana at 955 Waimanu Street. Thank you for the opportunity to testify. We understand today's agenda item authorizes HCDA to begin the developer solicitation and selection process for this site. We also understand this is an early planning step and does not establish a construction timeline. As HCDA moves into the developer selection phase, we would like to understand how the authority is thinking about interim use of the property between now and when the construction is ready to begin. At a prior meeting, we shared our perspective as existing tenants and appreciate HCDA's acknowledgement that you value us in the space. Continuing to have F45 under an interim or extended lease during this period makes practical sense. It keeps the site active, maintained, and generating revenue, which seems significant, which seems fiscally prudent, especially considering the operating losses for HCDA of $10.4 million as a whole and $1 million for Kakaako segments presented in the 2026 year-to-date financials in the general meeting. And while long-term planning and approvals and to keep financing moving forward. If HCD sees value in gathering community input around interim use of the site, many of our members in our community have expressed willingness to share how important the space is to their health, well-being, and connection to the neighborhood. We would be happy to support that process in any way that is organized, respectful, and helpful to HCDA. One question I have is, does HCDA anticipate community input regarding interim use? And what would be most helpful during that process? And then just a couple more quick things I want to say before answering that, if that's okay. F45 serves hundreds of local residents and workers each week. Our presence brings daily activation, consistent foot traffic, and health and wellness resources surrounding the community already And the surrounding community already relies on. Continued tenancy avoids vacancies, supports safety and care of the property, and maintains positive community use during the transition. As HCDA considers next steps following today's action, we want to express our interest in being a constructive interim partner and to understand whether interim site use, including existing tenants, is something the authority anticipates addressing. And we appreciate HCDA's thoughtful planning for Kakaako's future and look forward to continuing to work cooperatively with you.
Thank you
For your time and
Thank you.
consideration. Thank you. Would you answer that question or not?
Yeah, if you'd like to.
So thank you, Sarah, for sharing your thoughts. These are thoughts I know I've heard from you, your husband, Mr. Winnicott, and members of the F-45 gentlemen. So, as you're aware, there's a housing shortage statewide. The housing shortage is, and addressing that housing problem is a top concern for the administration. Addressing the housing shortage is also a top concern for the board, as evidenced by all of the properties we've acquired in the Kakaako district to support workforce housing, rental, or for sale. This property is just one of those that we acquired for that purpose. So the development on this property will proceed. It will proceed because the need is so great to do it. The lease for the F-40 with F-45 was originally with Howard Hughes when we purchased the property. At the time that was entered into, there was a definite start date and there was a definite end date. That end date is in October of next year, as you're aware. I think as to interim uses, the only suggestion I can give at this point is we've heard your feedback and your concern. But as with any kind of development, especially a development like this that seeks to not just do commercial uses, but seeks to provide, workforce housing and affordable housing. We hope that the community will join with us in, celebrating that kind of change to our community and a good change to our community, much needed. I think for your business, and given that this development process is just starting out, there's much more information that we'll provide later. But what I would suggest at this point is within Kakaako, there's a lot of commercial spaces right now that are coming online. And what I might suggest is from a business perspective, just start looking, for those kind of spaces in Kakaako as well. But I've heard your comments and I take those to.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Freeman.
Go
And
ahead, Deepak.
Just wanted to clarify
Yeah.
that the lease expires October of this year, not next year.
Sorry, it's this year. Yeah, sorry. I was thinking last year, but this year, 24.
It's already passed.
Yeah, I know.
thank you.
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Second person pre-signed up to testify is Todd Adams.
Yes.
Yep, please, Mr. Adams.
Right here.
Yep, and then just identify yourself and please limit to 3 minutes.
Sure. Thank you for seeing me. My name is Todd Adams. If it's okay, I'm going to read a prepared statement because I'm not used to this sort of setting. I'm an owner occupant at Ulana Ward Village. Shortly after receiving my keys and entering my unit for the first time, I experienced strong, persistent mechanical vibrations inside my residence. These are not intermittent or lifestyle related. They are continuous, structure-borne vibrations that appear to originate from a large ground level mechanical system that's called an ACCU. The vibrations are physically perceptible throughout my unit and materially interfere with my ability to peacefully occupy my home. At least one other resident has independently reported similar disturbances. Since the discovering of this issue, I've repeatedly notified owner services and the developer. I've documented the condition
I've requested evaluation and corrective action. Despite notice, the condition persists and I have not been provided substantive information regarding testing, operational limits or mitigation. I am not asking HCDA to resolve a private dispute. I am here because Ulana is located within the Kakaako Mauka area. And HCDA rules emphasize residential livability and the right to peaceful residence within mixed-use developments. My concern is whether a residential project approved under HCDA's authority is operating consistently with those standards when permanently installed mechanical equipment produces ongoing intrusive vibration inside dwelling units. I respectfully ask that this condition be noted in the administrative record and that the authority consider whether further review is appropriate within its oversight role. And mahalo for seeing me today.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you, Mr. Adams.
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Yep. In person, people wishing to testify, and then we'll do online afterward.
Can you please state your name? for the
Yes,
record?
my name is Amanda Millen. I am with the F45 group. I am a bodywork practitioner. And I just wanted to comment on your previous statement. I also do a lot of biocultural restoration work in Hawaii and am a marine scientist. And I am very aware of the housing shortage in Hawaii, and it's something that we work a lot with as part of our restoration work. And my question to you guys is, not only do we need housing for people, but there also needs to be holistic wellness in these communities. And I respect the fact that you guys are making efforts to house people, but what wellness availability will there be? And so I implore you, is there a way that we can partner moving forward to find a house for the gym? Maybe it's at the bottom of the apartment building, or maybe it's somewhere nearby, or at least we could be there in the interim until you guys break ground, because we can offer a lot of services to the housing community that you guys are trying to accommodate. We have a lot of people who are sent to us for mental health and wellness. We have people who are injured. We have elderly. We have all types of people that we are taking care of. We are far more than just a gym. And, you know, we have red light and cancer patients and a lot of people who ideally would be housed in your apartment building that we could help serve. So if there would be a future chance for us to work together and serve the people that you're trying to find housing for, we would really be open to those.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Any other persons in person wishing to testify?
None.
Any online wishing to testify? Seeing none online, we will close public testimony. And members, any questions or comments? Member Owens.
The community facility that's part of the RFQ, could that also be a commercial lease?
Yeah.
Or is it required under your RFQ? I didn't find it in the RFQ document, but is that one where you have already developed criteria for that, or is it being left to the selected developer to come up with a community facility plan for the apartments?
We'll be working with the developer. Typically what City has done in previous projects is that they make a requirement in the RFQ to have the ground floor as a community space or commercial space for small convenience stores and things like that. So and we typically work with the developer on the sizing of that and that kind of thing. On this particular project, I believe the funding that was used for purchase of land came for, had a proviso in the budget saying that it's sort of this is the space for community. community use, so. It's most likely that more than a convenience store, this might be a space for community use.
Okay, so that, but if that didn't take up the entire ground floor, would the developer have the option of including other commercial uses for?
So certainly, yeah, it just depends on financing of the project too, like that. And then how much square footage you can devote to other than affordable housing uses, because typically this type of projects are financed through low income housing tax credit. And that had a limit on, non-residential spaces and also.
Thank you, Member Evans. Secretary Lidstone.
Mahalo. Has there been any community outreach or community engagement with this project going forward? In other words, collecting community feedback and does that play a role in selecting the developer? It seems to me that, there is a housing shortage, but quality of life is also affected. And it seems like these businesses provide that service. Is there any sort of involvement in HCDA collecting or engaging community in this process so that everyone feels like they're supportive, or any kind of event or any, to provide services for those organizations that will eventually be displaced?
Member Secretary Lidstone, this is really our kind of first formal, action that we're asking from the board. As this project moves forward with the developer, I think there'll be other opportunities to seek, input from the community, including at the neighborhood board level. As far as interim uses, that's something that interim uses until the development starts. That's something that I've heard the comments from Ms. Freeman and Ms. Millen and others. I've heard those comments, so we'll take that into account. Secretary Rose.
Thank you, members. Any other comments or questions? Okay, seeing none, is there a motion for the board to authorize the executive director to, one, solicit statement of qualifications and SOQ from developers for the development of a mixed-use community facility, mixed-income, affordable rental housing project, the project on land owned by the Hawaii Community Development Authority, HCDA, in Kakaako Community Development District, KCDD, located at 952 Kauaiha'o Street and 955 Waimanu Street, and further identified as Oahu Tax Map Keys 2-3-003065 and 2-3-003093. The land identified by the street addresses 952 Kauaiha'o Street and 955 Waimanu Street, hereafter referred to as Block P. 2, select a developer, and 3, enter into a development agreement and ground lease with the selected developer for development of the project on Block P2, and 3, take all actions necessary to effectuate the purposes of this action. Do I hear such a motion? So moved by member Strites. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Seconded by member Evans. Members, any further discussion on the motion moved by member Strites and seconded by member Evans? If not, I'll ask Deepak to take the roll call vote.
The motion been made and seconded on the motion, member Strites,
Yes.
member Evans,
Yes.
member Johnson,
Yes.
member Sakura,
Yes.
member Lidston,
Aye.
member C,
Yes.
Chair Higa.
Yes.
Member Anderson is excused.
Yeah.
Member Anderson is excused and member Trina is excused. So motion passes with 7 yes and 2 excused.
Good. Thank you, Deepak.
Thank you, Chair.
Moving now to agenda item number 3 for information and discussion. This is an informational presentation by the principals of Kaze Power, formerly known as Kanoa Winds, regarding the key performance metrics of the vertical axis wind turbine installed in Lot C located at the Eva end of Ilalo Street and further described by Oahu Tax Map key number 2-1-015052 in the Kakaako Community Development District's Mackay area. Mr. Robert Cundiff and Mr. Jason Potlopai of Kaze Power will now present the update.
Good afternoon again, Chair Giga, Executive Director Nakamura. Members of the authority, thank you again for the opportunity to appear before you and provide you with an update as to where we are with our demonstration and research project in Kakaako that you approved back in late 24. For the sake of time, we'll just jump into where we are with the installation. Again, in your packet, you can look at all the different elements relative to our company and the technology. Next slide 3, maybe, just the installation. So the site that we selected in going through this process is the Entrepreneur's Sandbox parking lot, Lot C. Next one, please. There you go. And so as you enter the sandbox, I believe it's 643 Lalo Street. It's basically at the intersection of Forest and Lalo. As you enter, to the right-hand side was an open area, an unused portion of the parking lot. So it served as an ideal location for us to do an installation. Zero impact to parking stalls and any revenue for HCDA. So we selected that site. Next one, please. As we move forward with the installation process, we clean the area. We put a security fence around the area that we have the ROE for. The difference between the Kalailo installation and this one was the unit came to us fully assembled already from Japan. And so you can see the unit there was in storage near the airport for approximately a year. We pulled it out of the container, delivered it to site, and put it in place pending installation. Next one, please. While it was sitting inside on site there, we took the time to add some research elements to it. We put a Wi-Fi network station on it. We have a wind sensor on it. We have vibration sensors on it. So we installed all the devices that we're using to capture data to support our research for this project. In the ROE, there were multiple installation elements to consider. What we zeroed in on was to do a cement foundation because that basically simulated likely future installations in different potential applications. So it's an 8 foot by 8 foot concrete block, 16 inches thick. It's got number 4 rebar in 2 layers, 12 inches apart. We built a wooden template to install lag bolts that would mount the unit on top of. Then basically poured concrete. You can see some site pictures there as to how we went about that process. Next one, please. We let the concrete cure for a couple of weeks, then brought in a crane. And with the crane, we basically lifted the turbine up and put it in place on the lag bolts that were embedded in the concrete. Tied it down till it was nice and tight. And that pretty much summed up the installation. The next slide will show you what the final looks like. So that's what it looks like behind the security fence. It stands about 25 feet tall. There, we've got some signage on the fences on the front side and the left side of it to give an idea as to what the project is all about for anybody who's interested in it. And it's a great location and it's been a great project and we really appreciate your support of us and what we're doing. Talk a little bit about what we're getting from it and where we go from here.
Absolutely. So, we did not select the site particularly because of its environmental conditions. It was a real opportunity for us to have the equipment within an urban setting and start understanding both the environmental impact and the acceptance from general public regarding this new wind turbine. So, we're happy and excited to say that it is performing as expected. Throughout our data collection process, we have been able to identify that the turbine is operating very safely. So there has been 0 bird and bat strikes. We have video monitors on the equipment that both monitor the equipment, and then we have vibration sensors that can assist in case there's sudden strikes. And then we do visual monitoring on a regular basis. And so we are down at that unit 1 to 2 times a day since we installed. So it's been pretty consistent. And so we complete a visualization form to recognize what activity is disturbed and what's happening within the site. And we're really happy to report that it has been performed exactly as we expected. No bird or bat strikes, no disruption of insects or flying creatures both at night or during the day. And we have been able to test the noise relative to the surrounding. That's a little bit difficult one because the ambient noise is often louder than the equipment. There's a lot of trucks and dogs and the wind blowing around the equipment actually generates far greater noise than the noise produced from the equipment. So we're really happy about that result. We've been clocking it, and when it's quiet, it's also still. And so it's hard to get zero noise on our readers just because when the wind blows, it impacts our noise. But the equipment itself is you cannot hear it, and so it's really negligible. And then as far as power production, we're averaging around 3 kilowatt hours on it. It is on the low side for what we expect. Our winds average between roughly around 7 or 8 miles an hour on a normal day. We do have gusts of winds up to 28 miles an hour in this area. In August, we reported the highest winds somewhere around 28 miles an hour. And so that gave us a good opportunity to both check additional vibration, the sound, and other power production. So as the gust comes through, we're able to get a lot better power production data. So that's been really promising. But to sum it up, no visual impact to the environment, no evidence of bird or bat strikes. There's been no evidence of vibration to both the foundation, the system, or the parking lot. And we have been able to provide a Wi-Fi station there to continue testing its power impact. And just as the Kailoa system, it does have its self-internal workings where it is balancing the power between wind and solar, inverting it, and then storing it in a self-contained battery unit. So ongoing work, we had some delays with programming our display board, so we're going to continue to work on getting that programmed. We want to increase the public availability of the Wi-Fi for the unit, and that's something that we're going to work on over the next term. We do have a weather station there, and we thought about perhaps making that publicly available information. We're continuing to test the components or battery systems and any other integrations. So we're really excited about the opportunity to work with HCDA, and thank you for the chance to conduct this very important test.
Thank you.
Thank you both. Members, any comments or questions? Member Evans.
I don't see the digital screen with the data on it. Is it somewhere?
I don't know if you can pull that up, but as you enter the parking lot, the first stall that's right next to it often has a car, so it's working very well in an urban environment, people around it and stuff. But from that perspective,
Yeah.
there's a display board. It's not yet operational, but it will be shortly.
Yeah.
And so we'll be able to put, information on there, the general public that, has interest, that visits the site. There will be some information that will scroll on that display board.
Yeah, we had some programming complications in getting our computer system to communicate well with the screen. So we do need to hire some additional help and kind of build that program. So thank you for your patience.
I think if you scroll the weather stuff that you're collecting too, people would like to see
Agreed.
that.
Yeah, good
that's great.
suggestion.
Thank you, Member Evans.
Thank you.
Members, any other comments or questions? Seeing none, we'll open public testimony. Any pre-signed up? Any in person or online wishing to provide testimony? Seeing none, we'll close public testimony. Thank you both very much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your support.
That item was for information only, so we'll move now to agenda item number 4, the report of the executive director. This is the monthly report and other status reports, including approved permit applications that did not require HRS 206E-5.6 public hearings. Executive Director Nakamoto will now present his monthly report.
Thank you, Chair. In the interest of time, I'll stand on my report and then open for questions.
Thank you. Members, comments or questions? Seeing none, we'll invite public testimony. Any pre-signed up? Any present or online wishing to provide testimony? Seeing none, we'll close public testimony. Thank you to everyone who joined us, board members, members of the public, and thank you board members for Good day of meetings. I hope that you enjoy your lunch. Thank you to those who joined us on Zoom or in person. That concludes our business for today. The meeting is adjourned. The time is now 12:41 PM.
Thank you. Great meeting.